I'd like to welcome everybody to the Wayne Township Board of Trustees meeting for December 3rd, 2024. I want to call to order. May I get a roll call, please?
You may. Mr. Coughlin?
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Ms. Colvin?
Here.
You have a quorum, sir.
Okay, let's all rise for a pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Can I get approval of the minutes of the previous meeting for November 19th?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from November 19th meeting.
And I was not even a
You
second.
have a second? We'll do a voice call. All in favor of approving the November 19th minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays, like sign, motion carried.
Okay, do we have any additions, removals, or disclosures from post agenda? I think I see
Yes.
one.
Resolution 2024-132.
Sounds good. A lot of resolutions on there tonight. Very good. Very good. So what we'll do is we'll keep going through. As you can see, the welcome in here, we got public hearing that will start at 7:30 for Caldwater site plan approval. And then at 7:45, we'll go into public hearing with Records Retention Commission. So next on the list is citizens' comments. Do we have any citizens' comments tonight? Seeing none, we will move on to our for our department head reports. We'll start off with the road department, Mr. Cameron.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
Steady as she goes. We've been trying to keep bushwhacking, getting things knocked down, trimmed up. I may have another pipe installation for maybe next week after I did some ditching, and one of the residents called about that. And then we just have a resolution in the legislation for the hot box that we can discuss at that time, unless you want to discuss it now.
No, I think it's a good idea, especially for the roads and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, after the last meeting, wasn't really, prepared. That just kind of came out of left field, and so we were, talking about a lot. After a little bit of thought, this made more sense as far as a more useful piece of equipment, more readily useful, for the road department. So after some investigation and research for pricing and availability and things, I think I recommend this as the best option that we have. It's basically a new unit. It's just had a little bit of rental use on it this year. So.
Yeah.
Do we have a storage room for it somewhere?
I'm sorry?
We have storage room for it?
Oh, yeah.
In one of the buildings?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Lime Street.
No. I am a master of organization.
Good,
So,
all right.
that is all I have, unless you have anything for me.
No, very good.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next up, fire department report, Chief Beckett.
All right, good evening.
Good
Thank
evening.
you, everybody. My report as submitted stands, 72 runs for November, 72 EMS runs. Fire specific calls were 24, so total 96. That brings us to 823 EMS calls for the year, 336 fire calls, and 1,159. That number will fluctuate because some people don't necessarily get their runs completed as they're supposed to, myself included. I've got one hanging out there that I didn't get done, so it usually bumps up 2 or 3. And then I sent you the comparisons this afternoon between January 1st, 2023, or January 1st and December 1st, 2023, and just explain, we're up about 70, 39, I forget, I had a lot going on today.
Yeah.
We're steadily creeping up. We did have, a couple weeks ago, I sent out 5 certified letters to members of the department that haven't been active recently. Had asked them to get in touch with me if they still wanted to be members of the department. That resulted in 3 resignations. Tiffany Cronenberger and John Cronenberger have been longtime members of the department. you got copies of their letter, they just, life circumstances
We did.
changed.
We appreciate them
Yeah.
sending the
Yeah,
letter, email,
absolutely.
and everything, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with Jacob, he got hired full-time up at Trotwood, and they were just getting inundated with overtime. And I appreciate that he, you know, well, we need paramedics,
Yeah,
I appreciate that he's gonna not call off for us to work an overtime shift there, so. But we do have three interviews set up. One of those is a medic, one of those is in medic school. And actually takes one of his finals tomorrow, so, and then, we have another potential candidate that's gonna take his physical agility on Friday. So, Assistant Chief Lawlich and I are working on developing a line item budget for 2025, so we can just kind of better track and set us up for the future. Policies, I've got a bunch more to send you, but I wanted to get the ones, I know there were some questions on the last ones, I wanted to get through those before I sent you a whole nother batch. And we started doing, our procedures, which leads me to a question. Policies are running, procedures are how we do things. Do you want me to send you the procedures as well, or?
I mean,
The procedures are an example, so on a residential structure fire, you should pull an 1.75" hand line to,
For me, I don't need to.
I don't
Yeah,
think
okay.
I feel to
That's,
contribute anything.
that's
Yeah.
your baby.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I just wanted to make sure, I appreciate that,
Yeah, unless you had some major question or something like that,
Yeah.
really,
No,
the procedure part is
procedures.
definitely.
should, it shall, policies are shall,
Yeah.
procedures are should. We've got Christmas in the village this weekend. We've been asked to deliver Santa both Friday night and Saturday. We'll be taking care of that.
That's a long drive to go pick him up.
I know,
Yeah.
they're actually, Dave's leaving tonight to go
Really?
get them,
Okay, good.
which, who's gonna need credit card?
We'll put some miles on 98.
Yeah.
Till the one I
You
don't.
got the Kringle 3000.
Turbo boost.
Look like you've been lying
Don't
before.
forget,
We don't know what
to go
Christmas
down
spirit
and
on
get us chain tire kicked.
Right.
Don't seem to.
We held county standards training last night. We did that in conjunction with Massey Township and Carlisle. The Fire Chiefs Association came together and they put out, starting to put out some county policies. And the county standards is basically a communication standard on how we should all talk. So we're all on the same page, speaking the same language when we go to incidents together. So it was very, very good. I think it was educational for a lot of people. It's based off of what they call the blue card model, which I'm pretty familiar with. So I think our members got a lot out of it. I know Massey Township and Carlisle did as well. A couple things that aren't on here that I just wanted to touch on real quick is our Medicount, our EMS billing. I'd like to, thanks to the crews, and especially Assistant Chief Lawlich, and driving that change and making sure we're coming into compliance to get our reimbursements with signatures and stuff. In 2022, we recouped and we billed and got $184,000. In 2023, $215,000. And this year, just through November, we're at 215, 189. So we've seen about a 15% increase, and we're not through December yet. So we anticipate, what you're thinking, probably another 30,000. So just by doing the training and doing that QA process that he started, we're increasing our EMS billing revenue.
Very good.
And then we have the resolutions for the purchases, which I'd be happy to talk about when we get there.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
That sounds good.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it too, thank you. Next up, we're going to the zoning department. Ms. Lowy, how are you doing? Good.
Got a list here of the comments for the month. And then I just have a listing of hearings and what's been going on so far. So on November 21st, the BZA approved a secondary dwelling unit. And they also approved the conditional use and site plan for self-storage units adjacent to Bentley's Possum Resort. We've got the hearing tonight for self-storage units. And then I didn't have in the report, but I wanted to note the dates for the Miami that you'll see above. I took in an application for a PUD Stage 1 rezoning at 8020 Bellbrook Road. That's for Miami Valley Roofing. And their hearing dates are December 19th at the Warren County Regional Planning at 1 p.m. And then they'll be before the Zoning Commission here on January 2nd and before the trustees on January 21st. So that'll be the first round of hearings on that application. And I think that's all for tonight.
Anybody else have any questions for Ms. Holman?
No, thank you,
No,
Stacy,
thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. All right, next up, we'll go into administrator's report. Mr. Edwards, how you doing?
Good, good evening, board.
Good evening.
Just a quick update on fire department payroll. We have a meeting potentially scheduled. Katie Horvath is available to come to our meeting December 17th. However, she's also available at any time between now and the 17th. So if we can find a date or sometime during the day that you guys could possibly or hopefully meet with her, we can knock this out or get some headway on it before the next meeting. So if you want to send me some dates after the meeting or sometime, then we can see when she's available so that we get too close to the holidays and get everybody tied up. I will send that, Lieutenant Patterson has been working on personnel portions of it and the totals. I have that for you tonight for a work session if you want to look at it, or I can just email those totals out to you. It's very difficult or hard to understand, but at least I got total numbers, so I'm gonna take a look at it. After last meeting, left off here that the OPWC Integrating Committee was meeting that night, and we know on Wednesday, and they did approve our changes in the scope of the project for Coleman Avenue. So that is now being worked on by the county engineer's office to get it prepared for bids to go out.
Which, if I can add, I talked with the engineer or the gentleman that is working on that, and with any luck, by the end of this week or very beginning of next week, go out to bid.
So that's moving forward, progressing. The roof low bid has been contracted out, so a letter's been sent out to those that did not receive the bid. We're thanking them for it, taking the time and effort to bid, and working on preparations with the fire department, road department, from what they need for 2025. And also have employee evaluations. I've got to go through mine with my employees. I've got one evaluation I'm still working on, and then I'll start that project this week. I had in the packet a copy from the county on the board of elections on the certificate for results of the fire levy. And also, I don't have on here, but I've been, December 1st is driver's license review, so I'll be doing the annual review on all the driver's license for all the members on the township. So we've got about 50, usually about 56, 57 of those to go through, so. I was working with Tanner yesterday, trying to get, he's working on getting the update of the new members that have come on in the 24 and making sure that everything matches up. Which is always a good exercise because we always find out about 60 employees, we'll find 2 or 3 that's got something that doesn't match. Either one of us has got a birth date wrong, or we got a license number that's got a bad number or bad character in it. So And the good thing about it is, typically, holds true, that we've been real good the last 7 or 8 years and haven't had, anybody with any high marks on their, driver's license.
Any word on the 73 finish? Anybody heard anything?
That's a good question.
It's
Yeah.
been, the deck's been poured, they're under cover now, so the only thing they got left
Deck's-
to pour is the
Barrier wall.
barrier wall.
The southern barrier wall. They've got the approaches poured, the deck poured, and working on caging the southern barrier wall. They've got the approach barrier walls poured and blanketed.
Asphalt's down, so it'll be ready. It'll
Next
be ready.
year?
Are we ready? Yeah.
I thought it was real nice, we saw a post come up, day after Thanksgiving, is the Cold Road open yet?
I know, yeah,
But
not till the bridge is in.
but I don't know what the status will be on pouring those,
With
with
it
the weather.
cold, I know, that's why I was
Well,
wondering.
they'll use a slip form, which does tend to lend to, it could, that's a lower slump, so not quite as much water.
Yeah,
Of course, concrete does gain heat, as it sets up and things, so, I'd say if the weather forecast holds out, and, we're expecting some very cold weather here in the next couple of days, but then we kind of start into a warming trend, so they might take advantage of that, especially if they get the caging all completed.
is Spring Valley done? I haven't been up there in a while.
They're not done.
They're not.
They're about at the same position
Yeah.
that this one is in, so.
Great. All right, thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, guys.
Appreciate that.
All right, next up, fiscal officer report. Mr. Fitzsimmons, how you doing?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We have finally closed out the old, ink credit card program. That's finally shut down. It was a battle to get it shut down, but it's done with. So we're solely on the procurement card system now. And I've had last meeting, I kind of told you the auditor of state wanted me to kind of handle this purchased interest thing a little bit differently. And I got into it, I thought, well, this is just a lot of work for me. So I wrote up a procedure and shot it back to them, and just finally heard today that they agreed to it, so it's a lot easier on me now. So now I should be able to get all these, because they were holding out the September and October, November books, because this hold up on procedure, so they finally agreed to my way of thinking, and if they're watching, I thank them. Because it makes my life a lot easier. So what we decided. And then the last thing I had really is I did get a proposal back from Strategic Solutions. I didn't get it to you guys quick enough,
Thank you.
but it's not right where I thought it would be in terms of what it'll cost to scan the majority of the stuff that we got. So everything in my office and in the main office, just everything in the admin side would be about $10,000 for it all. I think I gave you I think I have the old one.
11,000?
11,000, yeah. I got 8,000 because I found a bunch of boxes in the closet.
Okay.
I didn't realize it was there. So, adding that to it, we could trim back some of that, but that just gives us an idea of if we did at least everything up on this floor administratively, fiscal office wise. And there's some admin stuff in there as well, that's just not fiscal office. That's about what we would be looking at for that.
Were they gonna do like a test run or something, so we can get an idea of what it looks like before they do everything? I thought we had talked about maybe doing that, so that
I
we
mean,
could,
we can, we could have it scan a couple documents. It's
Well,
gonna look like,
I guess,
nothing different than what we,
no, I was always thinking about like the categorization of things, how to find them easily once they're scanned.
right, well, and that, well, there's two parts to that, yeah. Because they're gonna largely go by what we tell them, which will be, breaking out the categories by our retention schedule, so they can put it in those slots with that regard. The second piece of that is, when we signed on, we didn't buy the option for the OCR, which is where it scans, if anything is printed. Then if we type in anything, they got a search box. And whether, right now, what we have to do is set it up. Let's say if I do a voucher, I'll set it up and I'll tell them that we should look for this, and this item, date, maybe PO number, something like that. Well, the OCR box will allow us to type in anything in there, essentially, and if it's a document that's written or something like that, or typewritten, something like that, it will scan all the documents for that. So you can look at Simmons and then pull up every document that said Fitzsimmons, that way. So that's an extra, it would be prorated if we bought it in now because we're already into this, but, it would be $500 additional a year for the OCR. And that is really gonna be an appropriations discussion when we got there, but you guys can think about that. But I mean, it would be hand in glove, so, what would we sign that contract for about
So what you're
five?
saying they could.
So it would be about 5,000, so it would push us to about 5,500 a year, if we added that OCR feature into it.
Are you saying that after they scan things in, you can add OCR for 500 if you wanted to, so if, you don't have to do it as it's scanning in?
Right,
Okay.
yeah, at any time they, the way I understand, they can just turn it on at any
Turn it on,
point.
okay.
And then they said they would do it for a period of time if we wanted just to test drive it and see, what we think of it. But that's the other piece of it. So that would be the cost of scanning back the old stuff and, getting it into the system, and then we can probably, I would suggest store, some of that, at least until we get through this next audit, store here, and then we can make those decisions of how you want to begin destroying records. But
Okay.
that's just, food for thought. And that's all I really have.
That's good.
What year of documents are we talking about?
Well, I'm trying to, and we could trim this back. I just wanted to see what it would be just for everything. So it looks like it goes, some of that goes way back, probably, well, when I say way back, there's probably 15, 20 years up here in some of the documents, a lot more downstairs. And that would be the work of it, is finding the stuff that makes sense. You know, so payroll and those kinds of things that are 60 years to forever, we probably should go ahead and scan. Stuff that's gonna be not so much, you know, we probably wouldn't have to scan, you know, because we just cycle it out, you know. So that's some of the thought process there. But we could cut that back, going through and see what we have.
When do you need us to decide on this?
Well, you don't have to decide on it tonight. I mean,
Okay.
if we want to create a resolution, good for next meeting, you guys can make a decision. Well, I mean, I guess you guys could decide tonight what we want to spend up to, and then we can have the resolution for next meeting to vote on. That'd be up to you.
All right.
Yeah, I think we should, have a little bit further discussion on it later. Yep, good with that. Okay. Any other questions?
Well, I have none, thanks, Scott.
Nope, that's all.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Scott, appreciate it too. All right. So far. 7:24, okay, we'll continue to go. Anything with the old business right now? Trees, Vine Street or other, anything there?
We were gonna make a motion about Miami Street, weren't we? Cause we kinda forgot last time.
Yeah, I think that's what we're, but we don't, was that for the ORC, because I know Gus sent that email out talking about
Yeah.
the property stuff, where they have to be notified out first before, or a 2-week period, I think, out to all the publications and everything,
Right.
to be able to know the, what's that?
We can make a motion to send a notification out, that's probably about it.
That's what I was gonna say, is probably what we can do.
Yeah.
So I can make a motion to, have Gus proceed with making a notification out to all the public, notifications, I guess, newspapers.
Do we want to do anything though about, because I think with that building, we still have to do a lot split on it though. So,
I don't think we can do anything until we get this notification done.
okay,
Gotta do step one first.
Step one's gonna be notifying the public that our intentions are to start to move forward with it, then the next part would be to, then we have to go sit down together and look at the fact of the different parcel itself and how we want to split it, where we want to split it out and
Right.
stuff. That's because that's also gonna be another discussion about it too. Because you got all four properties, right? Make a motion on all four properties would be Miami Street, 165 Miami Street, you'd have, Marvin's Lane, yep, Mount Holly, and then Lateral, yes, Lateral Road.
But do we want to, I didn't know we wanted to sell Marvin Lane.
Well, the school's gotta get their stuff in
Yeah,
first.
exactly.
I would say
Me
intention.
personally, yes.
I would say yes.
We were over there, looked at it the other day. It's not
Okay.
small, two-car garage, basically.
Yeah,
Unless the
I
school
know.
wants to buy it.
And that's true,
We
too.
would-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there's the guy who lives on Main Street, he's interested in it too, he's been interested in it for quite some time, so.
I didn't know if we want to use it as storage for any of the boats, anything that's in the current Miami Street.
Let's turn to
Two-car
Scott and
garage.
to Chief Beckett. Do you guys have any
Use for that.
cost-benefit ratio for the Marvin Lane?
I haven't had anything in the last, once the road department moved out of it into the Lytle Road barn, when there was a barn there, while the Waynesville Road property was being built, once we moved out, the fire department kind of moved in after that.
Yeah.
So then, once the new firehouse on top of the hill was built, we cleaned it out in preparation to dispose of it. And that's when the school vomited into it, which has been, kind of a, I don't know, they're a little slow. I mean, it's not like they're flush with a lot of loose hands to go move, they've got a lot of file cabinets that are full. They've got a lot of kitchen equipment, tables, chairs, a lot of mock-snicks, things that are in there. As far as my department's concerned, I don't have any need for it. My personal opinion would be to the gentleman that has the old Township house on Main Street, which is right behind it. But there is, without seeing how the lot is broken up or how it is, that could get a little tricky there too, so.
It's a little small.
For what that's worth. I think the building is as wide as the lot is.
It's pretty close to, yeah.
Yeah, so there's not a lot of wiggle room anywhere, and I don't know, I looked at some of the lines, that Gus included in the packet or what have you, but it seems a little ambiguous, I guess. So.
I've never stepped foot in Marvin Lane, I can tell you, I've been on the outside, I've never seen the inside. As far as the firehouse goes, there's, we still have a lot of stuff that's there. I know the association has a fair amount of equipment there, the buffet lines and the trailer and stuff. And, I talked to Captain Carter last night, who's now the head of that organization, and said, hey, you need to put this on your radar, start making plans, because I don't know what's gonna happen, but start making plans. So I know that the association's gonna probably work through some of that, and they should be making some plans, and going forward. As far as, let's say hypothetically that the building sells by mid-January. I'll need to find a place to put an engine, but I
It
have.
won't fit in that garage, I'm sure.
No, it will
No.
not. We can squeeze into the station for a little while, because again, I'm still waiting to hear back from Warren County Career Center. They're taking that engine and stuff, and I've also made contact with Clear Creek Township, that once their new station is open here in January, that they would be able to hold it temporarily for us. So, but then it's a matter of going in and cleaning it out. We also have a large amount of foam that we're waiting, we're on the wait list to have it taken back, and, but that, I hate to move it twice, but it can be moved.
With the Warren County Career Center and that engine, what was, I don't know if I'm totally up to date as to what that discussion is.
So, we don't use that engine. We have two fantastic engines that are in service. And that is still a great engine. It runs fantastic. Warren County needs an engine to train with, their career center, their high school. So what I had talked to Chief Perk about, their program coordinator, is, taking the engine and possibly the rescue, and trading those for training credits to send people to level 1 class, EMT school, level 2 class, fire officer 1, 2, 3, tech rescue classes as well, and getting a set amount for those vehicles for training credits that we don't have to outlay. And the caveat with the engine is that if one of our engines goes out, it comes back to us until our engine's back in service. So he's taken it to his powers to be, and we're just waiting to hear back from them. So
How would we go about, who's going to be responsible for keeping track of credits and,
he and I would do that. Yeah. They would do a set amount. I'm waiting to hear back on what their set amount is, because I have a number in my mind.
I was gonna say, do we know, so you have an idea?
I
as to
have
what-
an idea of what I think those trucks are, a fair valuation of what those trucks are and how much that would be for us. So I'm simply waiting to hear from them on yea or nay. If not, we can put those trucks either through a brokerage or
Gov deals or something.
gov deals, yeah. So
Great,
I'm very anxious to kind of pare down our fleet, so.
I'm good with that. Yeah,
Okay.
you wanna,
So you want to make a motion with this, finish this up?
Make a motion, you gotta stop.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna hold up right now, and we're gonna switch over to our public hearing that we have right now. And the time right now is 7:32. So what we're gonna do is we're going to adjourn our meeting of Board of Trustees meeting right now at 7:30, well, actually 7:33 now. Go ahead. I'll recess. So, excuse us one more time. So we're gonna move our regular Board of Trustees meeting into recess right now at 7:33. And we're gonna move over to a public hearing for a cold water site plan approval. Like I said, time right now is 7:33, and so we'll move into that.
Do you wanna do this here?
Yeah. So let me make a motion that we turn into recess.
I would make a motion, we recess.
I will second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Kaufman,
Okay.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
Ms. Colvin.
Yes.
All right.
I need to open up this. Now I'm gonna make a motion to open the Wayne Township Trustees Site Plan Review for cold water self-storage. That's at 7:34.
All righty, roll call vote, Mr. Kaufman,
Yay.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
Ms. Colvin.
Yes.
Okay. Everybody good so far?
Okay. We will-
Now, we'll go into the script for the cold water self-storage. The Wayne Township Board of Trustees shall now come to order at 7:34 on December the 3rd, 2024, for a public hearing that was scheduled for today at 7:30, 12/3/2024, so for a site plan application. So Ms. Looney has a PowerPoint to share to explain the application and reason for this hearing. You go through the order of proceedings first, or do you want to do the PowerPoint?
I'll do the PowerPoint, and then I have some plans and things I'll show you as well, besides just the slideshow.
Okay.
Take just a moment. All right, so this application is for site plan approval at 3119 State Route 73. This is an 8.153 acre parcel, which is zoned B2 in its entirety. The B2 zoning allows for self-storage warehouses through site plan approval. The applicant is proposing 4 new buildings which contain 78 total storage units. These storage units are for boats and RVs. And overall, the proposed site plan meets our zoning requirements for the landscape buffers, lighting, the setbacks, parking. So I've no zoning concerns with the plans as submitted. So these recommended conditions are just some kind of boilerplate language that relate to other agencies that he has to have contact with and approvals from. So I'll read these into the record, and then if you have any changes, you'll just need to add them or delete them as part of your conditions on the resolution, which I can edit as you're ready as well. So the first condition would be that all plans and proposals of the applicant shall be made conditions of approval unless modified by one of the following conditions. Number 2, the stormwater management plan must be approved by the Warren County Engineer's Office and submitted to the zoning inspector prior to obtaining a zoning permit. Number 3, compliance with the Warren County Soil and Water Conservation District standards prior to obtaining a zoning permit. Number 4, an ODOT driveway permit must be obtained and submitted to the zoning inspector. Number 5, all paved areas must meet a minimum of 6 inches of 304 gravel and 2 inches of asphalt. Number 6, a permit must be obtained for any proposed sign. And number 7, the existing tree line on the southern boundary is to be maintained. And I just want to show you some of the plans. It'll take me a minute. My computer doesn't switch when I'm on PowerPoint, so just a second. So, you can see over here, we have the existing buildings with the used car lot and the paving. And so these proposed buildings are here. There's a large culvert in this area, so they're avoiding that area. The setback off of the right-of-way line, the dotted line along the front here is this line along here is the right-of-way line. And that setback is 50 feet for the storage building. Here's the actual property line out here, and this is the right-of-way. So this building parallels the 50-foot setback line, exactly. So that works. And then these other yards, this is also a front yard over here, which has a 50-foot setback. Of course, it's much more than that. And this yard here is considered a side yard on the south, and that exceeds our required setback as well. This is his retention pond for the stormwater plan. I just want to note that the stormwater plan and the water and soil conservation district permits are underway. The stormwater plan was rejected for more information, the way I read it, so he'll just have to work on that and meet the requirements of the Warren County Engineer's Office before that would be approved. This plan here just shows the landscaping. There's going to be landscaping just in 2 additional places. One is I requested, it's not really required by our zoning to have landscaping out along the frontage like this, but due to this facade paralleling the road, I requested, and they provided those trees along that border. And then trees along the retention pond, which will be in addition to the existing tree line that's on the property. This is just an example of a lighting plan, showing that it zeroes out, at the property lines, which means no lights bleeding over onto any adjacent properties. This is just a rendering of some of the buildings. So is this facade that we broken up with some landscaping? And that's everything, unless you have any other questions, for me, or like me to leave one of these plans up for you to look at.
Is there fencing around those buildings? Well, I know that's all might be some fencing between the buildings.
I don't
There was
honestly
some
don't know
right
about
here.
it.
Yeah,
right
those
there.
are where the buildings connected, I did.
I think this, is this a fencing along the edges? It kind of looks,
No,
No.
we weren't gonna put any fencing up, because the buildings kind of serve as a fencing now. In between the buildings, we were gonna put the same metal siding for a fence, you know, 6
Okay.
foot, so it'll match the building. But the buildings kind of serve as our fence.
Okay.
Is the driveway gonna come off your main driveway that's already there?
Yeah, ODOT, talking to them, which I agree with them, they don't want me to have another inlet driveway right there, because it's too close to the traffic light.
Right,
So I'm set far enough back off the right of way, so they said I could use that driveway, I would expand it 6 feet, and then I can go down the side there.
No turn lanes needed.
I'm
No
sorry.
additional turn lane is needed on,
No, but this was all verbal talking to ODOT a year ago on it, so I gotta make sure nothing's changed.
they said it's a low, low intensity use. Self-storage is considered one of the lower uses of.
Lower traffic
amount,
Yes,
sorry, yes.
yeah.
That's what.
that's because of the number of units.
Yeah, because people just don't come and get their boats and RVs out quite a bit.
Just
So
the type
just
of
on Memorial Day
business.
weekend.
Back up those summer months.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
so the majority of folks, are, you know, if they come get their boat, they're coming getting their boat for the season,
Right,
not,
not daily.
I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
of course, Jamaica Mon here. He probably
I
gets
go get mine all the time.
every weekend, but, I mean, there's always exceptions, right?
So let me stop right there. So are you good right now, Stacy, with your
I'm
PowerPoint?
good, so if you'd like
Okay,
to-
so I want to continue with our brief statement. So order proceedings, basically, everyone has a right to speak either in support or opposition and can ask questions. However, to ensure an orderly hearing, we ask that before speaking, you state your name and address for the record, and time limits for each speaker will be set at 5 minutes. So first, we're going to hear from the applicant, which we've started to hear already, then proponents, then opponents. The applicants will be given the opportunity to address any concerns raised after all have spoken. So is there any further questions from the board? We're good there? All right, so then I'll let you have the floor.
Okay.
So please come up to the podium, state your name, address, where you're from, and
Chris Cadwalder, 3119 East State Route 73. This project came about because there's so much demand. Greg, who owns Clear Creek Storage right over by Game Day, I do all the tow outs from him on his abandoned vehicles and stuff. And he's got a waiting list for RV storage. And then it's funny because we were gonna, I was talking to Stacy about, we were gonna build a restaurant. A friend of mine wanted to build a restaurant on that land. And my banker actually came by and said, you need storage units. He said, we love storage units. So anyways, then I started calling some of the storage unit places on 73, and they all said they have waiting lists. So there's a need in the community is why I'm telling you this. And I like what it is, you know, what the drawings show and how it fits on the property. So any other questions?
No, I believe you came before the board some years back when you brought in the car lot
Yes.
situation for the business, and we did the site plan and talked about the stipulations and discussions. And I was on board then. I remember with that, we talked about keeping the cars in the gravel on the pavement, and I drive by quite frequently and I see them out in the grass.
Yeah.
So I guess, you know, we we as a board then, that board, we allowed, came up with this site plan, and we trusted you to follow that, and I haven't seen that personally. Not all the time, you're not being, not putting 100 cars out there in the grass, but you are putting them out there, you're not following the site plan then. What are you gonna do different?
That dealer is leaving me. There's another dealership there. You can have two dealer licenses at one location. And I have found it's impossible to control another business and how they do business. He does not do business the way we want, and I'm not at the lot every day. When I pull in and I see cars on the grass, it drives me nuts. And then that big truck that was out there,
Still out there?
no, it's not. It's on the pavement.
Oh, yeah, it's on the pavement, yes.
So-
Hasn't sold.
It's not mine.
Okay.
No good deed shall go unpunished. I had a friend of mine, it's his truck, he broke down at Sunoco station. I dragged him back. And it's kind of a famous truck. If you ever watched the Texas Metal Show, they built that truck on Texas Metal. Anyways, it's again, a situation as a business owner I can't control. Now, I did control today. I said, listen, I can't tow it because it won't fit on a tow truck. But it's a friend of mine's truck, and it broke down there. And so he had it parked out front there. And I kept telling him, you gotta pull out. So anyway, the reason I'm bringing up, it's not excuses. I own the property, it's on me.
Hmm?
But that dealer, the other dealer that keeps parking on the grass, is not gonna be there after January 1st. He's done. That's Iron Horse. We're not gonna lease it out to another dealership. Mainly because I can't control them, and it infuriates me, that cars get parked on the grass. That's not me. I like my grass to be, as you can see, I keep the landscaping nice, I keep the grass cut, because I want to project that image to the community that drives by. I want to keep a nice facility looking nice. Cars on the grass do not look nice to me. That's not right. And that's my obligation to you guys on the old board, giving us the permit to pave that out there. You gave me the permit to spend 60 grand on paving, and this is, I repeat myself like I do my employees and the other dealers there. I paid 60 grand to have it paved, park the cars on the pavement, not the grass.
Right.
So hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
First, thank you.
Yeah.
I have two questions for you.
Yeah.
One is, do you know where the drainage pond is gonna outlet to?
Into that huge ditch.
So it's gonna go to the side?
Yeah.
Over
So it's gonna go.
Township
It's
line?
gonna go west.
Okay, all right. And then, I can't make you do this or anything, but it's more of just a question.
Yeah.
In the ditch is a lot of invasive species trees, all
Okay.
those pear trees and all. Do you have any plans for?
Can I? If you guys don't object, I'll take them all out. I don't like any of those.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you get rid of them?
Well, and also I knew it's gonna come up because I sold an easement to the billboard company there.
Okay,
And I know they're gonna ask me, got the trees down, I'm gonna tell them they can.
yeah, I'm like, if you're gonna have equipment in there, just get rid of all those trees out of that ditch. I mean,
Awesome. I'm glad, because I thought it'd be like people would protest because I'm taking trees out.
No,
Yeah,
those are nasty.
They're
trees.
weeds.
Yeah, they're weed trees.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I promise you I'll take them all out, because I didn't know I could.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just gotta watch erosion, it's gonna be.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
yeah.
erosion
Or
is,
anything
yeah,
else.
right.
Get the rid of it.
The world's biggest
But that's all
ditch.
just rip rap in there anyway, I mean, that was all,
Yeah.
It's county.
thank you.
Okay. So first, like I said, we'll hear from applicants. So is there any proponents that would like to address the board? Seeing none. Are there any opponents that would like to address? Seeing none as well. And so I guess we don't have anybody for you to come back and address any concerns or issues. We appreciate you answering our questions for us,
Yeah.
yes. So thank you guys for asking those questions, and the ones we had earlier as well, so that's good. So you guys have any more questions?
I have none.
Okay. So right now, we're going to close the public hearing. Let's see here. Yep, we're gonna close the public hearing. Someone need a motion?
Diane.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I will second. That's a motion. 7:50.
Already all in favor for closing the meeting or the session, say aye.
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 Okay, any nays, like sign?
You're there. Okay. So now we're up to the next thing for, let's see, is that one of our resolutions? You ready?
One twenty-nine.
Change it.
Okay, so that's gonna be resolution 2024-129. Now, what we're gonna need to do, we need to make a motion to either approve conditions, or deny the site plan application for 3119 East State Route 73 Cobble Substation. So, first motion. Do you guys have any, conditions or anything?
I have no conditions. Do you have any conditions?
I would just, take action on the resolution, I think is the best way, because all the, conditions are built into that.
Okay.
That would suffice,
Perfect.
instead of a separate motion.
Okay, that would be good. I appreciate that. So let's go ahead and go down to resolution 2024-129. Yes, sir.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2024-129.
Is there anything in there additionally besides what you told us about the site plan that you, the conditions you had though?
No. It's just the
It's
same
just the
conditions
same
that I
ones
read.
about, okay. So, yes, okay. I will second that motion.
Roll call vote, Mr. Kaufman,
Yeah.
Ms. Colvin,
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs.
Yes.
This resolution is adopted the third day of December.
Okay, perfect. That's it.
Thank you. Good luck with the rest of your,
Okay.
you have to get
I'm
this
just-
easy,
I can't
this
wait
is
to
the easy
tell.
part probably.
Can't wait till Rob and I get home and cut the trees down.
Yeah.
Real quick,
Yeah.
what year is that monster, that large truck?
It's a good question. I can't remember, I watched them build it on the TV show, but I don't remember.
Is it newer than a 2019, because my Chiefs truck's getting,
Oh,
Motion denied.
You know, what was funny, my friend who bought that truck, he's got more money than sense, and he texted me, and he said he broke down at the Sunoco station. I go up there, I'm looking at this truck. I said, Zach, that's not street legal in the state of Ohio. The state of Ohio is a 32-inch bumper law. And I said, if your brakes go out, you don't hit bumpers with the person in front of you, you run over it.
right.
So I can't wait till that thing leaves.
you know you're on camera, right? All right. We'll make sure your friend sees this.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, now we're still in recess for the regular Township Board of Trustees meeting. We're going to move into the public hearing, another public hearing for Record Retention Commission. So that is, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for Records Retention Commission here at section 53.
Do a roll call vote, Mr. Kaufman, Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
and Mrs. Colvin.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, this is all you, Scott?
Well, I was kind of wondering, this is my first pony.
Okay.
This is my first radio on this one. So I'm not sure who all played on this. All I really have for this, and typically there isn't anything, but since we've been talking about digitizing records, I have updated the records retention to include, for the fiscal office, that things can either be stored and maintained as paper or electronic, so that, that piece of it's there, and then just updated the face sheet.
That was just put into the wording of,
The retention schedule, you can look at it. I just adjusted before it just said paper, and now it says paper or electronic.
okay.
That way we have the ability to do that. And then I believe we have to send that off to the state for them to bless it.
And what page was that on?
It's section, it's just fiscal office, starts with FIS.
Okay. Would you like to see?
Yes.
There you go.
And that's all I had for the
We
records
need to
retention.
make a motion on that?
I would assume so.
Okay.
I guess I'm part of it.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
just,
I
it's
just-
Candy, it's just, since you're the president, it's more you and.
It's just gonna be me.
Yeah, it's, right.
I just need to
That's what we did last time.
Right.
You were last
Yeah.
time, Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Yep.
So something I just need to sign?
So you want to close out the public hearing?
Okay, so,
I'll second the closing out, that was a motion, right?
You have to make a motion to close out the public hearing?
I'll second.
7:55.
Ms. Kaufman's right. Alrighty, voice vote, all in favor of closing out this session of the Records Retention Committee? Say aye.
Aye.
Nays, like sign, motion carried.
All right, now, we're going to go back into the regular session. We're going to come out of recess, so let's make a motion to come out of recess at 7:56 PM and go back into our regular Board of Trustees
So you're
meeting.
making a motion, right?
I'll make a motion right there.
I'll second.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr.
Sorry.
Kaufman. We can do a voice vote to return back to regular business session of the trustees meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays, like sign, motion carried.
It can be, yes. I appreciate you guys helping me. Helping guide me along with the journey. But yes.
You've learned well, Padawan.
Yes.
All right.
So,
Go ahead.
we ended where we were making a motion to start the process of selling all 4 properties, right?
So,
At the public notice of that.
so we're giving a blessing to Gus to start the process of
Following it, ORC.
ORC, alerting the appropriate forms of communication that we are interested in selling our properties.
Do we have to say how we were proposing to sell them yet, or just, is the notice just a,
What ORC
Simply-
says that, you mean like a,
like if we go for sealed bid, or, right, yeah?
yeah, because I know that's what you guys did last time.
Sealed
When that
bids.
property was sealed bids,
Sealed
you have to
bids.
notify everybody, and then you start the process after you get the notification out for 2 weeks' notice at least, and then start to roll from there. So, yeah, so you made a motion on that?
Make a motion.
So the motion is to authorize the township administrator to notify the public about the selling of the property?
All four properties.
Well, I know, but
Okay.
it's the sale of
Selling-
property?
Sale of the properties
Sale of property
via the closed
at
bid.
Main Street, Marvin Lane, Mount Holly, and Lytle Road. Is that
And it's
correct?
per the ORC, High Revised Code section, whatever that was in there that we received.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, it's not that
It's in
bad.
the administrator's report, I mean, in the lower section of our. Here?
Okay, so we have a
Section, it's,
You got it?
505.10,
5.10.
acceptance and disposition of property.
Here it is, Gus has it too. And that goes into pretty good detail of all the different property and by resolutions or sealed bids and every degree. So that's good.
I will second that motion. Do you have a motion? Do you want to reread the motion?
Yep.
Okay.
Alrighty, so it's gonna be a motion authorizing the township administrator to notify the public about the sale of the property at 165 Main Street, 63 Marvin Lane, Mount Holly, and the lots at Mount Holly and Lytle Road. According to per Ohio Revised Code 50510.
Go ahead, Gus.
What about 122 South Main Street and 155 Miami
Those
Street?
are on different parcels.
Okay.
Oh, because you have to include those with, yeah. That makes more sense. Yep.
Township owns them all, but they're different parcels.
125 Main, and what was the other? address?
122 South Main Street and 155 Miami Street.
You got that, Stacy?
No, not all.
It's, who did you,
Brad made the motion, Diane seconded.
okay, so we, okay,
Yes.
Jacobs called. Alrighty, so roll call vote, Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
Ms. Colvin,
Yes.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Alright, this motion's passed this third day of December.
Okay, next on the list, moving down, we got new business. Is there any questions or concerns with the bills?
Right on. So we paid the Lucas.
And then you said something about a motion to approve bills presented for payment.
It's on the agenda.
Lucas and the McGraths both were put into service today.
Very good.
We just got all the parts, so we just paid the bill tonight.
Yep.
Parts at noon.
Parts are in.
And then you want us to state, I want to make a motion to approve the bills as presented for payment. So I've made a motion.
Okay, Mr.
I will
Jacobs?
second that.
Coleman, and there's have to be a roll call vote, since it's expenditure of money. So, Mr. Kaufman,
Yeah.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
and Ms. Coleman?
Yes.
Okay, this motion's passed. Now,
Next up, we have legislation now. Gets a little tricky every time. All right. Let's see here, we get. All right. You guys good?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have resolution 2024-123. This is supplemental funding source for the bid from RTM Roofing LLC for shingle roof replacement on the Wayne Township Administration Building. A resolution authorizing expenditures from the American Rescue Plan Act funds using the standard allowance and its presumption of revenue loss during a public health emergency. So as we go down through here, you guys has it at, so we're looking at the administrative roof at 6050 North Clarksville Road. It's about 8,600 square feet to tear off, replace. We're looking at about $34,473.47, plus $68 per sheet of decking required to be replaced. So that is still be determined, but the estimate is probably 60 sheets. These are 4x8 sheets at $68 a sheet. So that could be an estimate of about $4,080. So what we're looking at is SLFRF funds used at 100%. We're looking at about $38,553.47. So
On this resolution, this will probably be the last project finished, so more than likely, this will zero out the ARPA fund, and then the remainder of whatever is billed to us, because it's gonna be an unknown quantity, unknown dollar amount, will be taken out of general fund.
okay,
We will appropriate probably I think we're about a 9,000 difference, so we'll probably appropriate about 9,000 or 10,000 for roofing for next year.
okay.
Okay.
So I guess this is a hard number, right? So when they pass this, I can set the PO to this number, because otherwise it'll create a bit of a headache if we gotta go backwards. This 38, so you're sure we're definitely gonna have 38,553.47 cents?
No, he's not sure.
No.
We don't know the 60 sheets.
Your hard
60 sheets
numbers.
is the hard number is the 34,473.47.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, that's the,
Sure. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because most people,
Anything above that's commercial.
yeah. That's not a problem, this extra money, but I was just making sure that.
I would encumber this as the last project.
Mhm.
So once we get through these others tonight, then I can go ahead and, do those and do the purchase orders and then find out exactly what you got left. And put the remainder of that on this project.
Okay.
Because it should be around almost $10,000 left, right?
Yeah.
So that'll definitely cut into the general fund by that much. Okay. Or not left, but over.
Because all the other projects are hard numbers, so this one's the only one's.
Yeah, I had calculated 10,628.47 is the overage from the ARPA funds that we'll have.
Okay.
Did they give an idea as to when they're able to work us in on this? I mean, and obviously we're gonna wait till next year, I understand that, but did they say March or something, or?
No, didn't give them any indications. Or, like I said, we don't have any leaks or anything like that, it's nothing that's, permanent. I'd rather, like I said, they'd rather wait till decent weather to get a good job done, so.
Yeah.
Great.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-123.
I will second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Kaufman,
Yay.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
And Ms. Colvin?
Yes.
This resolution is adopted the third day of December.
Okay, next we have resolution 2024-124, this is replacement of the 2 remaining HVAC systems in administration building. Project was awarded to RAFFOUL Heating and Air LLC. A resolution authorizes expenditures from the American Rescue Plan Act Fund using a standard allowance and is presumptive revenue loss during a public health emergency. And so this is a replacement of 2 HVAC systems. Yeah, so the project hereby is authorized and shall be paid for ARPA funds at $26,096. $26,096. Any questions on this one?
Nope.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-124.
Second?
Roll call vote, Mr. Coffin?
Yay.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Ms. Colvin?
Yes.
This resolution is adopted the third day of December.
Next, we have resolution 2024-125. This is a resolution to approve a purchase of a Falcon 2-ton hot box trailer from the MCLEAN company. And this is going to tie into resolution 2024-126.
Right, so, yeah, so the 25,000 out of the ARPA fund, and the remainder out of my regular road budget.
Pretty.
Pardon me?
I think it's a good use for, the money, and I think you'll get a lot of use out of it.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
township will, so,
Absolutely.
I think that'll help us out tremendously.
Yeah.
For the roads and everything, yes. I think it's a great idea.
I mean, just having not to wait for the county to free theirs
Yeah.
up.
Right.
So we
Yeah.
do our, when we want to.
so
Absolutely.
I'll make a motion that we should, approve this resolution for the Falcon 2-ton hot box, 2024-125.
I will second that.
All right, roll call vote, Ms. Colvin?
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
And Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
And this resolution is adopted the third day of December, 2024.
Okay. We have resolution 2024-126. This is supplementing funding source from the Lean Company for the purchase of the Falcon 2-ton asphalt hot box trailer. A resolution authorizing expenditures from the American Rescue Plan Act funds using a standard allowance and its presumption revenue loss due to a public health emergency. So we have this one.
Yeah, this is just a standard, taking our $25,000 share out of, ARPA for it.
This will come out of next year's, the 4,000 money? Or
This year's.
This year's money?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-126.
Second?
All right, roll call vote, Mr. Coffin?
Yay.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
And Ms. Colvin?
Yes.
This resolution is adopted the third day of December of 2024.
On behalf of the road department, thank you, board.
Is that the same model that you, I mean, is that the same model that the county has? or-
No. This is a different model, it actually dumps. It has a electric over hydraulic dump, so it's a little easier on
So they're
the
gonna,
geriatric crew.
they're gonna wanna borrow ours now then.
Yeah, right.
Next, we have resolution 2024-127. This is a resolution contracting with Phoenix Safety Outfitters for the purchase of 10 sets of turnout gear with helmets and boots. It's a resolution authorizing expenditures for American Rescue Plan Act funds using a standard allowance and its presumption of revenue loss during the public health emergency. So Chief, I think it's where you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. In October, we were awarded we applied for and were successfully awarded $15,000 from the LOAD grant, and with the intent to purchase 5 sets of gear. And further discussions with Mr. Edwards, he said, well, just, go for 10. So that's what we did, you know, in reviewing our current gear, we have 31 sets that are gonna expire in 2027, so, anything, almost everything with an NFPA label on it expires in 10 years. So, you need to get on a steady replacement program so that you're always in compliance. Now, is fire gear that from 2017 probably still good if it's never gonna, yeah, but you run the risk if something happens, all right, you weren't compliant, so. So this is a good start of getting us, into that gear rotation. And the $15,000 from the load grant really does help. You know, the pants and the coat are one thing, but the helmet and the boots are another expense, but we have to purchase it all, so we have it complete sets to give to people. We've got five people right now that are, using gear that's either out of date or going to be out of date. We just sent some gear to Phoenix Safety Outfitters, for repair. They're an NFPA certified repair shop. They're right in Springfield. The rep lives in Springboro, so it's a matter of calling and saying, hey, I need you to swing by and pick this up and take this and get this fixed, or, you know, the gear we're getting is particular to, Phoenix. It's their spec, so they're gonna have, sizes available in stock. So right now, what we do is if we order gear from, say, 911 Fleet, they come out, they measure you, they send the measurements off, they custom make the gear, and they send it back to you, so it's about a 3 to 4 month lead time before you get it back. With Phoenix Safety Outfitters, they've got sets of gear that are already sized, so like you're kind of pulling it off a rack. They come down, they measure you, they go make the adjustments that they need to make, and it's back within about a month, so there's a shortened time on it.
So how do we do that when a person, you know, leaves the department and their gear might not fit the next person, or like what happens?
That's why we need to have some stock gear.
Okay.
So, what?
Because we own it once we own it, so it's not like.
Yep. So you either squeeze in or it's a little loose.
Okay,
Um,
alright.
That's
So if
just
you're
the
one of the
nature of
lucky
the
ones
beast.
that gets the fitted one,
Yeah.
then you're,
And the intent is that, you know, we'll get more common sized gear,
yeah,
that I'm bigger than the average bear, so my gear's a little bigger. But, you know, we come in all shapes and sizes, and we just gotta, you know,
Right.
bring people in, and then hopefully they stick around for a while.
yeah. Or we have a
Hire
size,
my size.
we have a size large, we need to hire a size large person.
Right, yeah.
It was a Brady Bunch episode.
Yeah.
Is it?
That's how Greg became a singer. He fit the jacket.
Thank you.
See?
Showing their age.
Yeah.
Alright.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-127.
I'll second that.
All right, roll call vote, Mr. Kaufman,
Yeah.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
and Ms. Colvin.
Yes.
This resolution is adopted the third day of December 2024.
Okay, next, we have resolution 2024-128. This is contracting with First In, Last Out Fire Equipment and Training, LLC, for the purchase of 22 sections of 1 7/8 inch fire hose and Eckhart Hainline nozzles. And this is a resolution authorizing expenditures for American Rescue Plan Act funds using the standard allowance and its presumption of revenue loss during the public health emergency.
As I described, this is just updating our attack package. The hose we have is a little older, and technology has come along and advanced things, and the biggest thing is that, you know, while we're looking at having limited staffing, and back in the day, you could have 3 or 4 people on a hand line, and so the attack package they have right now, what we're using is, you know, a 1 a 100 to a 200 gallon per minute. Okay, let me just pause real quick. I can really nerd out right here. You need to let me know when I'm getting too nerdy, because this is my jam. Anyways, so, the newer hose is better than the older hose. It's impregnated with polymers and things that make it more rigid, that allows for lower flows with higher GPMs.
Okay.
So what puts fires out is gallons per minute, not PSI, but gallons per minute. And if PA says we have to have, your average structure fire, you have to have 300 gallons per minute flowing to make an attack. How we do that is we have two hose lines that flow at least 150 gallons per minute. So the hoses we have now, when we open those up and we are flowing those at their maximum and getting that 200 gallons per minute is what they're rated for, we have 100 pounds of nozzle resistance. So I open the nozzle up, the nozzle resistance coming back is 100 pounds. With this new hose, and there's, the friction loss is probably somewhere around, we'll say 100 as well. So I'd have to look up the specific numbers for that key hose that I can, but, so our PSI on that engine is gonna be at, we'll say 200, all right? That's a lot of RPMs for that engine, and it's screaming, it's loud. And with the new hose, the friction loss for 200 feet, and that's the size of our crosslays, the length is 200 feet, it's 58 pounds of friction loss. So on top of, we're gonna flow, we need 50 PSI at the tip of that 200. So we're gonna be pumping at just over idled about 100 PSI to achieve our flows. And what that does is that reduces that nozzle reaction to about 48 to 50. So I'm not fighting 100 pounds as I go through the door to get the hose in while I'm flowing water. I'm just doing 50. Does that make sense? Am I kind of explaining?
Ergonomic.
It's more ergonomic, it's easier on the fire, and
It reduces the cost, or reduces the need for manpower.
yeah, and it reduces it. We'll always need manpower, but it makes it easier for the manpower we have to put that fire out, because that's what we're here for, is to go and put the fire out, search for victims. So it is a tool that makes us better. Like I said, it's kind of come around, when cell phones started, you had the big bag phone, and you went to the flip phone and the Nokia, and we've got kind of that Nextel flip-up phone right now. This is the Apple 16 that we're getting. So, and the bonus with using first in, last out is that they will come out, they will flow test every single one of our discharges to tell us exactly where we need to flow. So all the discharges have a gauge on them. We will mark that gauge. So if you're flowing the smooth bore, this is where you flow. And actually it's gonna be the same, because the combination nozzle is gonna flow at the same PSI as the smooth bore. So that's kind of new, but we will mark exactly, so you are hitting your target flow when the needle here matches up with this line here, and they will do that for all the discharges on all the engines. And then they'll also do a hose movement class, because the hose will move a little different, because it's more rigid. So there's a little learning curve with that. But it's not a big learning curve. I could do it, so I think I can
So
keep
is this
going if
replacing,
you'd like.
is it replacing all the hose and
Not-
nozzles we have, or
Not all of it, just the crosslays, the hand lines that we use,
Okay.
our initial attack lines.
Okay.
And then on the back, we call it our yard leg, there's a 200 foot hose bundle
Okay,
that this will replace as well.
okay.
And we're gonna deals the
Yeah.
old hose.
Awesome, thanks for the explanation.
No problem, I can go more
Mr.
if you
Geek.
want.
So I'll make is there any more questions? You guys have?
No, I'm good.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-128.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call vote, Mr. Kaufman,
Yay.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
Ms. Colvin.
Yes,
This resolution adopted the third day of December of 2022.
Next, we have resolution 2024-130. This is accepting the resignation of John Cronenberger from the Wayne Township Fire Department.
He sent a very nice letter to all of us. I really appreciate that from
Yep.
he and Tiffany.
John,
Yeah.
John and Tiffany have both been longtime members. They volunteer and they've put in a lot of hours over the years, so appreciate what they've done for the community, for sure.
Yes.
And we'll
Yes,
let
we
them
do.
know if anything changes, that's for sure.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-129, or 130.
I'll second that.
All right, Mr. Kaufman?
Okay.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Ms. Colvin?
Yes.
This resolution is passed the day of December 2024.
Next, we have resolution 2024-131, is accepting the resignation of Tiffany Cronenberger from the Wayne Township Fire Department. Again, same thing, we appreciate their service and everything in the email that they sent. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-131.
I'll second that. Stacking them up here.
All righty, roll call, Mr. Kaufman?
Okay.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Ms. Colvin?
Yes.
This resolution is passed this third day of December 2024.
Next, we have resolution 2024-132. This is accepting the resignation of Jacob Mitchum from the Wayne Township Fire Department. Anything on that?
Anything
Yeah,
about it?
you know, he's getting hit with a lot of overtime at his full-time job. I appreciate he doesn't want to put us in a bind by having to call and open a shift up for us if he gets called in for overtime and stuff.
So we appreciate that too.
Yeah.
Definitely, thank you. Thank you for your service as well.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-132.
Second.
All righty, roll call, Mr. Kaufman?
Yeah.
Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Ms. Colvin?
Yes.
This resolution is adopted the third day of December 2024.
Good, we made it through all our resolutions tonight. That was a lot.
Yeah.
So next we have correspondence. Is there any correspondence anybody has?
Correspondence?
I have none.
Do you have anything, Gus, correspondence-wise?
No, other than we did receive a Christmas card, first Christmas card from Clear Creek Township.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, I guess I had one
We
from
better send
Beverly
one back.
Campbell.
Oh.
Did we ever send?
Actually, her name, but, well, she gave a card too.
So we got any elected officials comments? You guys have anything?
None.
I just wanna, the only thing I wanna say is, I know it looks like we spent a lot of money tonight. I don't know if everybody in the public that's watching this might not understand that, it was, I'll call it free money, basically we got from the federal government, if you haven't been following along what's going on, but we had until the end of this year to encumber that money. And so that's why we went through and spent so much money, and so it's not really, it is your taxpayer money, but it went to the federal government and it came back to us, and so, if we didn't get this spent, it was gonna have to go back, and we'd rather use it in our community, so I think we've spent it in a good way, I mean,
I think so.
yeah, we've done a lot of road improvement projects, and I appreciate everybody getting the resolutions and, you know, figuring out what we
Thank
need to
you.
spend it on for the rest of it, but done a lot of road department, projects with repaving and with other communities, local communities. We've had quite a few things with the fire department. Our power cut I see on there, and,
Village of Waynesville.
Village of Waynesville, worked with them, and our, getting our buildings up to snuff, basically on maintenance that would have to be done anyway in the future, so we're just using these funds to pay for that instead, so that's what has happened.
And it was a 3-year process, this wasn't,
Yes.
because we didn't try to spend it all right real quick, we tried,
Right.
you know, and that's testament to Gus and
All
Scott and everybody else, and
yeah.
the chief and everybody, and, you know, Stacy and everybody's worked together really to put all this stuff together, and worked hard throughout the last 3 years of doing that, yeah. We appreciate your guys' work
We're
as
gonna
well.
miss the free money, but
See, we
that's
get
back
that
to
from.
normal. Yeah,
Very
all
good.
right, that's all I have.
Well, I wanted to throw in there, if we haven't registered for the OTA conference, you know, I don't know who's going, but,
I think I'm gonna pass this year. I gave an email seeing who was gonna go and stuff, I think I'm gonna pass.
oh, so you found out who's going on in there?
Oh, no, with everything.
No, I feel good.
I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I need to.
Yeah, and I know
Yeah.
I made reservations over the weekend for hotel, and a lot of those hotels are being sucked up pretty quickly, so if you plan to stay, that's happening pretty quickly. And then lastly, I did want to mention, with the passing of John Smith, I mean, he's a long time, well, he's a lifelong member of our community, and then with our fire department, and so I think that should acknowledge him, and perhaps maybe, I don't know if the fire department might be able to be a part of this procession. Okay, good.
Okay.
And then,
We will be represented.
okay.
Very good. Thank you.
All I have.
Perfect, no, well stated. Very good. Now, do you guys, Gus, are you wanting to go into a work session? Or are we just going to? You want to? Okay.
Or do
it's
we
fine.
wanna wait till Katie and do it all at that same time?
And that's fine too.
That's fine, but if I could make a suggestion,
Okay.
that
Go
we
ahead.
have that meeting sooner rather than later, because there's a lot of stuff that's hinging on that meeting
Yeah.
and decisions that are gonna be made there.
Can we all look at our calendars and decide right now, or not? Or well, and let her give her some dates, I guess?
Anytime between now and before the 17th, right?
Right. I've got the rest of the week free.
Is there anything, any certain time, Gus, like afternoon or mornings or anything like that? Any preference?
I just know that she has, I think, some young ones at home or whatever, so I think any time that, if we could do it, yeah, during the day, like early afternoon or something like that, fine.
So you wanna look at next week then? Or do we wanna look at this week?
I'm free the rest of this week, and then Monday and Tuesday next week. I don't know what you guys' schedules are. You guys
So Monday, Tuesday?
I can do early, I can do early Tuesday morning. And I can do early Thursday morning next week.
I can't do Thursday next week.
How early on Tuesday?
I could do as early as you wanted to.
And you said you're available Tuesday?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead and set up for the December 10th, Tuesday, December 10th. Then I can, in the mornings, I'd say, if we can. I should be good enough to do that.
Is that good with you guys?
Okay, so that's good.
You okay?
It's good.
Zoom
We'll
in.
let you know.
Yeah, appreciate that. Okay, and then we will not have a work session tonight then. Any need for executive session? I would say no. Good there? Okay, well, I'll make a motion to adjourn our Wayne Township Board of Trustees meeting at
8:28.
8:28, yes, sir.
I'll second.
All right, voice vote, all in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Nays, like sign, motion carried.